On tonight's show, we have pro baseball scout and trainer Claudio Reilsono. And now for your host, KoolKard. Have no idea what that long delay was about, but welcome to the show. Welcome back to the Kickin It KoolKard show. I am your host, KoolKard. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is episode 235 and counting. We are ramping them up, y'all. And I can't thank my guests enough. All of my wonderful guests that come on the show, that bless the platform, that give me that lend me their time, and just we just celebrate them, and that's what this show is all about. And we're going to keep on doing that. All right. I do this for you. I cannot do it without you. Tonight, I have a pro baseball scout, a collegiate coach, a trainer, a hitting trainer. He does a lot. This guy is, and he's been in the business for a very long time. So I'm sure he's going to be dropping some gems tonight. Please stick around. This guy is magnificent. I know you're going to learn something tonight, just like you learned something on all of my shows. And I have 234 other shows that you can go back and kind of stream them. There's somebody out there that's for you. All right. So please stick around. He goes by the name of Claudio Reilsono. All right. So without further ado, let's get this show on the road, y'all. We are kicking it tonight. Let's go. Claudio, my man, welcome to the show.
We finally got hooked up. Between my delays and some tech issues, we're on. So thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, no, my pleasure, man. Glad to have you on here. Can't wait to get into your story. I mean, this is what this show is about. Just celebrating you, the man, and all of your accolades and everything that you have to offer. I love for you to just, share transparent tips, stories, whatever. You know what I mean? This is all about just feeding the ecosystem, just spreading knowledge. And that's what it's all about. And I know you have a lot of it, man. You've been in the business for a long time. So,
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah, man. You're seasoned, man. You've been doing it. So listen, I didn't tell you this. I don't know if you saw any of my shows, but I do like to pray before every conversation. Everybody's faith is not the same. So I have to ask, are you okay with that?
Of course.
Of course. All right, cool. Let's get it. Heavenly Father, Lord Jesus, we just thank you for this time, for this moment. We thank you for Claudio, Heavenly Father, Lord Jesus, for his availability. We just thank you for allowing us to come together to have an eloquent conversation. We pray and ask that you guide it and you lead it, Lord Jesus. We just thank you for life, love, happiness, good health, Heavenly Father, Lord Jesus, and all that you do and all that you have done. We just pray and ask in your name. We just give you all the victory, all the glory, all the love, all the praise. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
So, Claudio, pro baseball scout, trainer, all that. So, I want to get to know the man first, though, right? I need to know how you got here.
Well, career-wise, you know what? It all started with me. And ironically, I met a man today who was at that game that I went to in August 19th, 1973. I was 8 years old. My uncle used to work at Three River Stadium. Wow. I didn't know anything about baseball. My parents were from Italy. They liked boxing and soccer. Mm-hmm. So my uncle took me to my first game on August 19th, 1973. And I just knew what I wanted to do from that day on. I fell in love with the sport, the atmosphere of it, that stadium, the players who, I saw a couple today and friends with many of the former players of that era. And I came home. And my dad asked me if I had a good time. I said I did, but I know what I want to do with the rest of my life. And he said, "What's that?" I said, "I want to be in professional baseball." Just what I said. And he said, "Okay, if that's what you want to do, then me and your mom will do everything we can to give you every opportunity in the world to make your dreams come true." And my mom said to me, "Okay, if that's what you want to do, we're here for you. Whatever we can do for you." And there's an old Italian saying, "If you ever see a turtle on top of a fence post, you know he didn't get there alone."
Right.
So I always, thank God for the blessings He's bestowed on me, and thank God for my parents for giving me that opportunity to to achieve what I've achieved. Because without them, guaranteed lock, I wouldn't be talking to you. I wouldn't have had the opportunities to do what I've done. So it all started with my parents. And again, my first game, August 19th, 1973.
1973, and you just met some of the men that were there today at the event you went to?
Well, I met a lot of the former Pirates back then,
Okay.
and one of them was Jim Rooker, who I was just with an hour ago. They're here for the '79 Pirate World Championship reunion,
Wow.
and I was friends with him and John Candelaria and Rennie Stennett and Grant Jackson, and just I've been so lucky to call these guys friends. Unfortunately, Grant and Rennie passed away, but those guys were inspirations to me. And then, something that Rook said to me about an hour ago, he said, you know, he said, "I'm so proud of you, what you've done." He said, "That little boy that I met in '73 to where it's at now." And that just meant the world to me. And when he
Yeah.
said that, and so I've been, I don't like to use the word lucky too much. I say blessed, and
Yeah.
plus a lot of hard work,
Yeah.
a lot of. One time, Carl was asked to do a speech, and they said, "Can you put it in a capsule, your life and career?" Wow, put it in a capsule. I'll be 60 in October, so there's a lot of stories, but I said the word top, TOPP. I had to be tough. I had to overcome. I had to be persistent, and I prayed a lot. And things are where they are.
Yeah, man. Sounds like it. So when you told your father and your mother that you wanted to play baseball, so I'm sure that's when it started. You started playing baseball. So like, where did it lead to as far as like, did you play collegiately? Did you play professional? And then you started doing doing the scout thing. Like, what was that track record? What was that timeline like?
See, the goal was to play,
Okay.
and I was good. I was very good, but my size, I'm 5'6", 5'6.5" on a good hair day. Uh, that kind of hurt. But then I had some tryouts, and the last tryout I had. Matter of fact, I told that story this morning. The first two tryouts, I was hurt. Okay, fine. I can use that as an excuse. Third tryout for the Pirates. Matter of fact, I was completely healthy. I
Right.
trained for it. I was ready to go. And I remember getting a 13-pound weight and throwing it, picking it up, throwing it. And
Wow.
I'd run with ankle weights. Then I'd go to the cage and hit. My dad would hit me fly balls, and I'd go to my old elementary school and throw a lacrosse ball against the wall with rocks on the asphalt and work on my glove hand transition. So I go to the tryout, and I remember running the 60. That's the first thing they have you do. They usually want 7-0 and under. And I was a very good hitter. I could play multiple positions. I was blessed with a very good arm, and I could run pretty good. But my 7-0, my 60-yard dash average was about 7-0, which is what they wanted. So I remember running, and Carl, I could still see my hand, my fists pumping,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm running as hard as I can. And I'm like, I can see my fists to this day. I can see them. And so, and I said to myself while I was running, "Is this an 80-yard dash?" It's like, when am I going to get there, right? So I knew I did terrible. I knew it. I said, "That's okay. I'll show off my arm." I had a very good arm. So I played multiple positions, but they started me off in right field. So I get a ground ball, throw it to third base. Perfect mechanics. Everything was great. Two hops to third base. Usually I either made it one shot or one bounce with some heat on the ball. Two bounces. So I remember going like this, shaking my arm,
Yeah.
right? Get the second ball. Three bounces. I'm saying, damn. Then the third ball, I think it's still rolling, right? Never got there, right? So I remember being in center field, waiting to be called so I can go hit. I said, "I'll show off my hitting." Well, they never called me to go hit. And I knew my career was over as a player. And I was sitting there on the ground smiling, but I have no idea why I was smiling. And I had to go home and tell my parents that I failed. And then not only that, but I had, as wonderful as my parents were, unbelievably wonderful, I had some other family members that weren't so wonderful, that wanted to see me fail and told me as much and told me I was going to be a failure and I
That
wasn't going to make it.
that element is
And
always there somewhere, right? Like, go ahead. I'm
but you know,
sorry.
I cared for these people, uh, and it hurt, but I used it to motivate me.
Hmm.
But I said, right, maybe I'm going to fail, right? So for 2 weeks, I was like lost. And I said, well, I do have some time in as an assistant coach. Maybe I'll be going to it. So I started coaching as head coach at my old high school, Quaker Valley, in 1988. I was 23, had a really good season. And then I started coaching college in 89. And in 90, I was an interim head coach at college. We won a college championship. Then from there, went to some different schools. And um, then I got my, I don't mean to jump around or because each step meant something, but I got my pro job, which I still have now in 2001. And so I'm still with the Global Scouting Bureau, and I became head coach at CMU, Carnegie Mellon University, in
Okay.
2005. But in between there was the death of my mom, which hurt
Uh,
me tremendously. A lot of rejections, pro rejections, college, everybody rejected me pretty much, and a lot of hurt, a lot of insecurity, a lot of this journey. Is it? Am I going to fail? Were they right? Were they? Um, what's going to happen with my life, with my career? Because I put all those eggs in one basket.
yeah.
And so it was hard. A lot of, but again, I had to be tough. I had to overcome. I had to be persistent, and I had to pray. And there were some moments in there when my mom passed. My mom was only 48. And I'll never forget, as long as I live, I went to the casket and I kissed my mom, and that's the first time she never kissed me back, right? And I remember my dad was to my right, and I was thinking to myself, I'm done. I don't want to coach. I don't want to play. I don't want to do nothing. I'm just going to get a job somewhere and go on with my life. Because when my mom passed, half of me passed, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. My dad grabbed my hand and he said, I know what you're thinking. He said, but you can't. You can't quit. He said, you're the only thing left to keep her name alive. And you promised your mom you wouldn't quit. She didn't quit her fight. You can't quit your fight. So as
Right.
soon as he said that, as corny as it may sound, you start hearing the Rocky theme, right?
Hmm.
And I said, okay. I looked at my mom. I said, okay, I promise you. And I get choked up talking about it. And this was 36 years ago. I said, I promise you, I will not quit. I'll keep at this because I know how much it means to you and so on
Yeah.
and so forth. And it took a while, but thank God things went the way they did.
Yeah, man. How old were? Well, my condolences. I lost my mother when I was really young too, so I get it. How old were you when you in that final tryout when you like I know it's over? How old were you then?
I was, I was 22.
Okay. And then and then when your
It's
mother,
ancient.
huh?
That's ancient when
Yeah.
you're trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I was
Sure.
23 when my mom passed.
Okay. Okay. So fast forward, you went. So you say you went through a rough patch, and then you finally got your legs. You're still scouting, right? So I'll say this because I always say this. We have our goals, right? We have our dreams, we have our goals, we have our desires. We know what we want, right? And we may not get there. But as long as you keep showing up and you're living proof, as long as you keep showing up, something great's gonna happen. And you're gonna be doing something that you're passionate about. And it never fails. I've never seen a person who did not quit end up somewhere in the same vein of what their ultimate goal was. It might not be exactly, but they're doing something that they love. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly. And I look back at all the people who started the same time I did. I just outlasted them. And yeah, to be honest with you, I was pretty good at what I do. But the other thing too, I read a story one time about I read a story about a girl who wanted to be a country singer.
Mm-hmm.
So she went to Nashville, and she tried, and she just never got a record deal. And then she said, I'm not going to make it. She said, but I love this atmosphere. I love this work. And she said, wait a minute, I've met a lot of contacts. I met a lot of singers. Maybe I can become an agent.
Mm-hmm.
So she's a very successful agent. So she's still in that world.
Yes.
I loved playing. It didn't work out as a player. I jumped over the coaching part professionally to scout professionally, but I've had numerous offers to coach professionally over the years. And but I love what I'm doing now with coaching at Carnegie Mellon, scouting for the Global Scouting Bureau. I do a lot of baseball training. I do several podcasts, which I'd like to have you on as a guest.
Okay.
Um, I host a TV boxing show. I do some speaking. I wrote a book, so I'm involved in some other businesses. So
Yeah.
it worked out for me, but it was a struggle and a half. It really was,
Yeah.
and sometimes people made it harder than it had to be.
Always. Always. I come from a music background. The music industry is about the dirtiest industry you want to be in, and it's a bunch of gatekeepers who make it extremely harder than what it is. You know what I mean? So I get it. But that's in everything. I played football up until I didn't go collegiate, but up until like high school. But I'm very close to the game. I get it. Everything. It's mind games. Things that don't need to happen for no reason. It's like, why are you playing with people's lives? So I get it. But isn't it funny how, you're because for me, like I wanted to be a musical artist, but God kind of God was tugging at my soul, like he was telling me it's not more for me anymore, whatever, right? So I gave in. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just go ahead and set it down. It's not for me anymore, and that's the most alleviated I felt in years, right? So it's like you don't realize how much knowledge you gain on the business side of things, just going through the struggles that you go through, seeing the people blocking your way, you know what I mean, all types of stuff. And then like when you step aside and you step outside of that, like oh girl, she said, wait, hold on, I got all these contacts, I can put this to work, I can use this. You don't realize it because you're so engulfed and head down, like I'm going at this, and don't even realize how much business acumen you're gaining just going through all the struggles. So it's all worth it. It's all a part of the journey. That's so cliche, but it really is. It's all a part of the journey. You learn so much in the journey. You just got to get in there.
But looking back on it, it's almost like a relationship that you're in. You're hurt when it ends, but then you say, "Man, thank God it did end." Maybe on her end too. Which is
Yeah.
fine. But
Yeah.
uh, I'm glad I didn't get some of those jobs that I went after. Any of them, to be honest with you, because I love things the way they are now. I mean, I
Yeah.
married 26 years. I have a daughter who's 23. I've never missed any of her events. I
Yeah.
The house I live in right now is the house I grew up in.
Wow.
So
Okay.
really, ability is very important to me.
Yeah.
And I enjoy doing all the things that I do. I'm not just, and there's no offense to anybody, but I like having multiple streams of income. I like doing different things,
Right.
and so it worked out. It worked out.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the scouting though. How does the whole scouting world work? I've always had questions about why, and this is not like in a negative way. It's just like how, it's so much talent outside of the United States when it comes to baseball. Like what are they doing over there? Like is that their ticket out of their country, out of poverty? Like what's going on over there where it's so much talent that you guys can draw from, and they're like some of the biggest stars in the game, right? Some of the biggest players in the game, the best players, most experienced. Like what's going on in these other countries where they're grooming and raising up these baseball players?
I'm going to say something that's going to be a little controversial, and it's just my opinion. Um, the coaching here in the states, in my opinion, and it's a damn good opinion, but it's my opinion.
You're a scout.
It's ruining the game. It's ruining the game. The Let's just take Latin America. They let you be who you are. Okay, they let your physicality, your God-given ability. They don't try to um, clone you. I've had twins on my team that batted differently. Why do I expect everybody to bat the same?
Right.
Elbow up, squash the bug, hit the lower half of the ball, let the ball travel deep, hit inside the ball. All this stupid. Which if I had a monitor, I could show you a lot of the use your hip, all this craziness. You say, well, Claudio, everybody says it. Well, you know, if everybody in Atlanta and the United States says your name is John Smith, is it John Smith?
No.
No. The Italians have a saying: if 50,000 people say a stupid thing, it's still a stupid thing. And I could show you on video how stupid and physically these things that are being taught, how bad they are, and they're creating holes for these hitters that they can't hit these pitches. In baseball, all it is pop up, strikeout, walk, pop up, strikeout, walk.
Yep.
So your question is the other countries. Number one, I give my opinion. I think the coaches allow them to be who they are. Okay,
Yeah.
and that's what you do. I mean, now you have to bat my way. Okay, I'm damn good at teaching hitting, but I don't make people bat the way I used to bat because
Right.
they may not like it.
Right.
You let people be who they are and tweak. The
Right.
game, in my opinion, I'm grateful for what I'm doing in the game. Trust me when I tell you. But it's hard to watch. It is hard to watch. When I grew up in the 70s and 80s and a piece of the 90s, I think those teams and players were better. That's just my opinion. These guys, oh, they're big, or he's throwing 105 miles an hour. There was guys back then that threw in the hundreds. Nolan Ryan, James Rodney Richard. Those guys threw hard too, but they also were pitchers. Look, I'm not insulting the players. I'm just saying I think it could be coached better.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't bunt anymore. Nobody bunts. Nobody knows how to steal a base. Nobody. The game isn't the same anymore. And then, like I said, whenever you hear MLB Network, you say, "Well, Claudio, these guys played 15 years in the majors. You didn't play at all." Okay, fine. What do you call a guy who finished last in med school? You call him a doctor. Just because a guy coached or played or even coached. I talked to some coaches. Unbelievable some of the things they say. You say,
Yes.
damn, how the hell did he get that far? But that's fine. They probably say the same thing about me, and that's fine. I could show you. I'm not giving you an opinion. I can give you facts. I can show you physically what, like, for example, I've seen hitter Ricky Henderson used to say, tell me when I do something right so I can repeat it. Don't just tell me I do something wrong. You'll see a hitter, flying open, popping it up, swinging and missing, not hitting well, but when he stays closed, he hits a line drive. You would think that somebody would tell that hitter, wait a minute, or even the hitter himself, when you stay closed, when that logo's here, or if a righty, you're here, you're successful. Let's do that more often. Let's
Yep.
do it more. No, you don't hear it. All you hear is this craziness, like hitting the lower half of the ball to create backspin. How the hell are you going to hit a baseball? Okay. How about if it's low? How are you going to get backspin? Right.
Right.
And I guarantee you, like if me and you were boxing, I do some things in boxing. We're not going to be inches from each other, right? We're going to be back so we can get some extension. Let the ball travel deep. What are you going to do with the ball when it's in your stomach belly button? How are you going to hit? But
Right.
that's what you hear. Hit inside the ball. I don't know what the hell that means. Hit inside the ball.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. It
That's a
really
lot
is
like
bad.
that's how they're ruining quarterbacks in the NFL too. Because
Thank you.
all
Tim
the
Tebow. Tim Tebow was Tim Tebow.
I was
That's who he was.
just about to
You can't
say that. They ruined
Yeah.
him.
Yes, you can't make him Dan Marino.
They
That was Dan
ruined that
Marino.
man. They ruined that man. He had success throwing the ball because all the running. Listen, don't get it twisted. He had success throwing the ball in college, and then you get to the NFL and you want to change up his throwing motion, something he's been doing his entire life. How is he gonna be successful at the most experienced level where these guys are super fast? You got people breaking down these offenses, breaking down the quarterback, studying you, and now you're out there trying to learn how to throw again? It doesn't work.
These offensive geniuses, first down, run the ball. Second down, run the ball. Third and six. Well, now you know he's going to pass the ball, so they pin their ears back.
Exactly.
it was, but see, here's the thing. Like I say about hitting coaches, and no offense, God bless you. You're making 6, 7 figures. That's great. Whatever it is you're making. But I see some things. And it's like you're with this player every day, and you can't recognize it. One
Right.
time, I was at a restaurant. I had a meeting, and I'm walking in an angle. That's how specific I can be. In an angle, there was a monitor on TV, and there was, of the game, TV monitor, and the hitter, doesn't matter who he was a rookie at the time, and he was dropping his shoulder and opening up, and it hit me right away. I said, they'll fix him. He's got a ton of talent. They'll fix him. All they had to do was have him cut through the ball, fast hands, and keep closed.
Yeah.
They never fixed him. Never fixed him. I'm saying, why can't, if I can see it in a second, as I was walking to this table for the meeting, I saw it in a quarter of a second. So Claudio, I'm just telling you, and they never fix them. I see a lot of great baseball players who are, you have to be blessed with X amount of ability. That's number one. But they have great hand-eye coordination. They're big and strong. So let's fix them, okay, so they can improve.
Right.
I don't see anybody getting fixed.
I just don't understand why they can't. Like it's almost brainless. Like just do what makes sense. What's not working for this kid? If your way is not working, find the way that works for him. Stop with this egotistical stuff, because that's all it is. You're gonna do it my way. I'm the coach. I know how to win, but you're losing, and he's failing.
You said the S word, sense, common sense. One time I was doing a hitting clinic at this baseball thing, and they said, what do you call what you teach? I don't call it anything. I said, it's just common sense. Bang, common sense approach. So
Yes.
I've used it. And it really is common sense.
Yes.
Like, they say, get backspin on the ball. You can't get backspin on the ball. I mean, it's hard enough to hit a ball, let alone hit it in such a way. How about if it's a curve? But see, everybody says it, and everybody says it, but still,
the lower part of the ball is why you got all these pop flies.
Pop flies, strikeouts.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's like, why don't you? So you draft this guy for what you've seen him do. Why don't you allow him to come on board and do what he does? But they get these kids and they just change them up, and then they get into the whole trade carousel there, and then they just get washed away. It's
several crazy. Years ago, very prominent school, very prominent baseball program, and the coach, Hall of Fame coach, big time. But when you went there, you had to bat his way, that school's way. Well, that's almost like you buying, a nice shiny black Cadillac and you paint it red. Well, why the hell didn't you go out and get a red one to begin with? Let me exactly. Roberto Clemente, obviously one of the greatest players of all time. He'd step towards third base and hit a triple to right field. Leave him alone. You know what I mean? He's good. Hunter Pence, the all-star for the Giants. He did everything wrong.
Yeah.
But he was good. You leave him alone. Like whenever I do a hitting lesson, I just don't start telling him what to do. Let me see what you're doing right, see what you're doing wrong.
Right.
If you have the ugliest stance, the ugliest swing, but you're getting results, hey, keep doing it.
Leave it up. Exactly. Like there's certain fundamentals you teach them or leave in play. But if they got their own style, you just let them do their thing. Like I see basketball players who have an awkward shot, but it goes in 75% of the time. Who cares? Right?
I don't know if you remember Jamal Wilkes. You probably too young to remember.
Sounds familiar. That does sound familiar.
His name was Silk. I'd never seen a man hit a bank shot, and you didn't hear any noise. He was smooth. But when he would shoot, he would bring it from back here. And he kind of...
Wow.
It was... Now, Larry Bird used to shoot from here. Magic Johnson used to push. There was a guy named Kyle Macy who played for Kentucky and played in the NBA. Perfect shot. Man, he squared shouldered, and boom, he was perfect, right? But if you made Magic shoot like that or Jamal Wilkes shoot like that, it wouldn't work.
Yep.
You let people be who they are.
Yes.
That's almost like going to a doctor and they start giving you pills. Well, you didn't even give me a physical yet. Whenever I do lessons, whenever I do lessons, I see what you do right, see what you do wrong, and go from there.
Right.
And but you hit it on the head. One quick story: years ago, I did a lesson with a girl. She was maybe 5'3", man, 100 pounds, but you can see she was an athlete. So
Yeah.
she's up there swinging uppercut, uppercut, uppercut. I said, "Wow!" I said, "You're not a power hitter. Your game is line drives and speed." Long story short, by the time we got done with her, now she was blessed with a lot of ability. She was hitting 80-mile-an-hour fastballs from the pitching machine, the men's pitching machine, baseball.
Yeah.
People were watching her. She was this little thing, but she was hitting line drives. So her mother said, "Could you please call her coach and tell the coach not to have her uppercutting it?" I said, "I really don't want to do that. I don't like to mess with a coach and talk to him about it. So please, please." So I called the coach up, and he said, first thing he said, "Do you know who I am?" I saw, here we go. "Do
Oh
I
my
know who you are?" "No,
God.
sir, I don't." I said, "I'm not trying to get into all that." And I said, "With all due respect, this girl is a good line drive hitter, man. She's not a home run hitter. She can hit line drive shots." He says, "Now we're going to make her hit my way. As a matter of fact, we're going to turn her into a lefty and make her a slap hitter, so she's that much closer to first base." I said to myself, she can fly anyway, right? And like Frank Robinson, the Hall of Famer, used to say, "You can't steal first base. You have to get on base." She did terrible. She quit, never played again because of the ego, like
Are
you
you
said about the coach.
serious? Why didn't she just go to another team?
I don't know. I never
No, you
saw
can't
her
do
again.
that,
That's the
but
one
it's
thing.
just like he probably killed her spirit though. At the end of the day, that's what happens. You kill the player's confidence and then you expect them to perform at a high level. Confidence is everything. Confidence
No,
is everything.
really is. I had a great player, Zach Ettinson, and I used to tell great kid, 6'5", always smiling, beautiful swing. I used to tell him, if you think you can or if you think you can't, you're right. You know, you have to go
Yep.
in there.
Yep.
You just have to uh, know when to turn it on. You have to be confident, and you go full blast. But you're exactly right. But I hate to be so critical, and this is nothing personal for sure. Probably people take it as such, but
No.
the game
And
is what it used to be. And like I said, I promise you, I can sit you down. We can watch some highlights.
I believe you.
I'll
I
I'll
believe
lie to you and say it'll take 5 minutes, but it won't. It won't, and you'll say, "Oh man, you're right." Yeah, I'm right.
you.
But so why aren't they? Look at the batting averages. Like I said, I'm 60 in a couple months. If you hit 185, 210, I saw a guy today, a former player who was pretty good. He used to hit 260, and they were booing him. If he was hitting 260 now, he would be an all-star. They would be throwing roses at his feet.
You are
Look,
speaking. Listen, listen. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I know it. Listen. I believe you wholeheartedly. Why? I'm a football guy, and I said the same thing to my best friend the other day. I said, look at these pitiful quarterbacks. These dudes are throwing 189 yards a game. Back in the golden days, 300, 400 was the average. These dudes are barely getting over the 100-yard mark in passing, and you're a QB. It's horrible, and it's a terrible product. This past season, listen, I am a football fanatic. I'm locked in. I'm on the couch all day watching game to game. This year, I'm scrolling on my phone, barely paying attention to the games. It was such a horrible product. Such a horrible
now,
product.
again, when a guy, he was like an uncle to me. His name was Chuck Knox. He used to coach the LA Rams. He's from our town. He came to our house. It was loved him, but he was known as Ground Chuck because he used to like to run the ball. But they used to go deep back then. And John Hadle, Daryl LaMonica, Kenny Stabler, Dan Pastorini, Doug Williams. I can go on and on. Um, these Jim Plunkett. I'm naming names you probably never heard of, but Joe Theismann. These guys used to Terry Bradshaw. They
Yeah.
used to go deep. These guys now
Dink and dunk.
dink
Dink and
and
dunk.
dunk.
Because they're not accurate. They're not
They're not
accurate.
accurate.
You know
So,
why? You know why also? because the colleges are not training them to be pros either, because all they want to do is run the option. Give these quarterbacks an option to run, and most of them are running. You're not teaching them how to drop back, read a defense, and throw. They don't go through their progressions. They look, it's one look and escape. Oh, like, oh God, let me get out of here. They're leaving the pocket and there's no pressure. You see it every Sunday.
I see it every Sunday. And it isn't that they don't have the arm, but like I said, my arm's shot. I can throw 5 yards to a damn 6'6" tight end. You would think.
Exactly.
I think I, and it's
listen, they're not even successful doing that though.
Now, how can you
They're
miss?
not.
When you have something to compare it to, right? Like, for example, I've lived in this house for 59 years. So I don't know what it's like to live in another house. I have nothing to compare it to. But I saw a good era of football, a great era of football, great era of basketball. Like basketball. I love, to this day, I love passing. In the Dream Team, 1992, when the first bucket of the games, Magic Johnson's bringing it down the court, and he goes, Larry, like this, flips it, and Bird makes it. Those guys, or again, I'm really dating myself. Dr. J, the way he would palm it, and Connie Hawkins, those guys had big personality. Pete Maravich, just go look up Pete Maravich, some of the crazy stuff he did. Or Dr. J.
That was Pistol Pete, right?
Pistol Pete, yeah, he was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Dr. J would just, float, and then he would stop in midair and go underneath the backboard. You don't see that anymore. I'm not saying these guys aren't great athletes. I'm not saying
great athletes, but it's a different quality. It's a different level of quality of play. To younger people, you can't even explain it to them, honestly, because they're just so like brainwashed. Like, oh my God, this person's the GOAT. No, you'd have no idea the impact that certain people had on the game and the world. And you're talking about this guy is better. Like, no.
Personalities. I mentioned Dr. J. The first thing I think about as a person, he was very regal, is the word. Like, he was very sophisticated. He was smooth, but he was a great interview. Yeah. Magic Johnson and Bird, whenever they got together, or from the former Pirates, Dave Parker with the wristbands and the look, and Ricky Henderson with the snatch catches. No offense to people today, none. But every single interview you hear, at least in baseball, it's cool, it's awesome, it's cool, it's awesome. It's it. There's no. Dave Parker said 2 things are for sure: the sun's going to shine, and I'm going 3 for 4. Reggie Jackson.
Yep.
Reggie Jackson was not only, he'd hit the home run. Reggie was great to watch. Or a guy named Joaquin Andahar. After he'd strike out, he'd point at you. Dennis Eckersley. Those guys had personality. Joe Namath, had that thing.
Joe was hell.
and you don't have to be a big person. Joe Montana didn't say much, but he had it. Dan Marino, the way he played,
John
I
Elway,
go on and on.
John Elway, he didn't say much, but he had it.
Yeah, it. One of my favorites, I don't know if you remember, his name was Doug Williams. He played for Tampa Bay, Washington. Doug Williams, if you watch him throw, he looked like he didn't even care. He'd go like this. Our flick. And the ball, I swear to God, I'm getting goosebumps. I swear to you. In the 87 Super Bowl, he throws a bomb. And it's like, how'd that ball go 60, 70 yards? But he had an it thing about him. The way he would walk, I'll never forget, and this sounds stupid, the way he would walk from the coach to the huddle. That's my quarterback. That's a leader. Yeah. Just the way he walked.
Yeah.
He didn't have to be, act big time or nothing like that. He didn't have to be mouthy. But I was so lucky in the 70s, 80s, and a piece of the 90s to watch what I watched, because that's why I wanted to do what I'm doing. Because in boxing, I do a lot of things in boxing. Sugar Ray Leonard, in my opinion, if somebody told me Sugar Ray Leonard is the greatest boxer of all time, it's okay, because he was unbelievable. A personality, could fight. Okay, one of two dear friends of mine, Ray Boom Boom Mancini and Vinny Pazienza, wonderful people, great athletes, tough boxers, big personalities, wonderful with fans. Muhammad Ali, enough said there.
Right.
You like who's like boxing today compared to when I was growing up. It just
No,
George Foreman, Evander Holyfield.
it's
Evander
it,
Holyfield, when he fought Mike Tyson, I don't know which fight. Tyson cracked him first punch of the fight, and I mean cracked him. Holyfield didn't do a damn thing, just kept coming.
yep.
Now, he just had that thing about him. Again, I was so lucky to come around and know
No,
that
so let me
era.
ask you this. Let me ask you this since we're talking about all this. I got two questions. I want to go back to let me say this. How do you feel about this new age of boxing? Like all these dang YouTube stars and this and that. Boxing, like I think it's horrible. I think that they're making a mockery of the sport. It's ridiculous. Like where do you draw the line?
I host the best boxing show on TV. I'll send you the link to it. It's
Send me the
called the
link.
Boxing Authorities, and it's on. The best way to go is go on YouTube and go to Luke LUKEDU. No, wait a minute, hold it. Wait, what the hell is Steel City Luke? Go to that.
Okay.
Steel
Okay.
City Luke, and it's called the Boxing Authorities. That's the easiest way to watch it. I got Luther Dupree and Smoking Jim Frazier. I always open the show. Boxing's, I said, most, what do I say? Welcome to the most informative and always entertaining. And it is a great show. Great show, trust me.
I'm
But
definitely gonna check it out.
when I write the script, when I write the script, I write topics and we run with it. That's it. We don't do a script. We run topics. If this was the 70s, 80s, 90s, man, I could do it half asleep. Those guys, they wanted it more. It's just my opinion. Somebody said, "Oh, I want it." Okay,
Yeah.
you you talk about Leonard, Hagler, Hearns, Duran. Wow,
Yeah.
right?
I
Those guys, in my opinion, were unreal. Today's fighters, um, you know, it's just not the same. I'm not criticizing them. Hey,
it's
they're going in the ring
it's
taking
not.
punches,
I
but
think
it's
it's a
not the
lot of
same.
money chasing. I think they're chasing checks more than just loving the art of the sport.
You mentioned the YouTube thing. Jake Paul is going to fight Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's 58. Okay, if he's allowed to, if Mike Tyson is allowed to, he will hurt that kid. Okay. Now, I give Jake Paul credit. He's done well promoting. He's made a lot of money. He's brought the sport up a little bit. Fine. But as far as him being a champion boxer, maybe. Put it to you this way. I'll put it to you this way. If you call me up, this is more baseball. If you call me up and say, let's go play golf, and one of us, I mean, both of us are lousy, one of us has to win. You know what I'm saying? Boxing, somebody's got to win, right? The guys I grew up watching and before, Jake LaMotta and Sugar Ray Robinson, they fought like 6-7 times. One time, like 2-3 weeks after the first fight, after they beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
That's
You
crazy.
know, but now it's a money grab.
Yeah.
These YouTube guys, good, you're making a buck. I'm for everybody making a buck.
Yeah.
But don't tell me that today's, as a whole, boxing is better than it was when I was growing up, because it's not.
No. You know what? And like you said, I ain't knocking anybody hustle or getting to the money or whatever. But I just say, come on, let's have a little separation from pro boxing and what that is. Right now, it's all intermingled and all that. Like, no, let's separate it, because that's what that is. And then we got the pros over here. And that's not to say that the pro boxing circuit is what it should be, because I see a lot of deficiencies there. It's just not that entertaining. These guys are not, I don't want to say trained. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely not what it was when what we're talking about, right?
You'll see fights, these guys making 20, 30 million dollars. If Sugar Ray Leonard, Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, Hearns, or Duran, if they were fighting, I'll put it to you this way. Years and years ago, they asked Joe DiMaggio, they said, if you were playing today, how much money would you make? He said, I'd knock on Mr. Steinbrenner's door and say, hello, partner. Okay.
Right.
That's what you do.
Because that's
Those
what
guys.
his value would have been. That's what his value would have been.
Exactly.
Why are these kids getting more money for less, and they're giving the team less value? Not everybody, but it's a lot of guys who are not that valuable getting king's ransom when, you know, these guys back. Go ahead.
How can you hit 210 and make 16 million a year? I don't get it. How can you be like boxing? The reason why, yeah, Sugar Ray was great, Tyson was great, but they brought people to the seats. Why? Because you wanted to see Sugar Ray be pretty and finish. You wanted to see Tyson destroy you on one round. What's the draw now? I mean, no offense, I keep saying that.
Just to show up and watch a fight, just because you have the love for boxing, that's pretty much it. That's the only reason I tune in, honestly. There's only a couple people that excite me. That's Gervonta Davis. I used to follow Wilder, but I honestly believe that he's not a fighter. He's just a brawler, and that's why he's losing as of late.
I'll tell you what, and I think that those fights with Tyson Fury, it took a lot out of both of them. We're human beings. We can only take so much.
Yeah.
And I think
those were some battles, man. I mean, God, how did Tyson Fury get up so much? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did he take that and get up? That's the only reason Wilder didn't win. Because normally, people don't take those punches.
I always say, he doesn't have the, now listen to what I'm saying. He doesn't have the greatest chin, Fury. But besides Muhammad Ali and George Foreman, probably this, and Larry Holmes, he's in the top 4 or 3 of greatest recovery chins.
Yes.
Larry Holmes, he did get blasted a couple times.
Yeah.
And he recovered. Ali got blasted a couple times, recovered. Tyson Fury got blasted and he recovered. So
he got blasted several times. Hey, before I forget, I wanted to talk about AWS, right? AWS using these stats and statistics and all this stuff to basically analytics. How do you feel about that? These coaches using analytics to call the next play. I hate it. Play the game and use common sense, right? What is the defense doing? What should you do? What's the situation? The analytics is killing the game. I despise coaches that use analytics to call the next play. It just kills me.
Well, if you remember a couple years ago when Tampa Bay played the Dodgers in the World Series, Blake Snell was killing the Dodgers, killing them. All of a sudden, the coach comes out and he yanks him. And he said, no, I'm good. You got to come out. The owner of our scouting company said, Claudio, the coach didn't make that decision. Somebody from up top made it. And it's usually some analytics kid who, 75 pitches, that's it. Yeah, but I'm still going good. That's okay. Your 76th pitch, you start to suck. Get out. That's ridiculous. There was a kid here in Pittsburgh, Paul Skeens, who's going to be big time. He was pitching a no-hitter. Take him out.
Are you serious?
Hell yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
The game is being ruined with this pitch count thing. That's not why the arm injuries. There's still more arm injuries now than ever. There's no gut.
Yeah.
There's no feel for the game anymore. When the manager's handcuffed, he has to do what's said to him.
Yep.
Now, if you told those boys that I grew up with, the Billy Martins, the Whitey Herzogs, the Frank Robinsons, the Dick Williams, Those guys, Earl Weaver, get the hell out of here. You don't tell me who to play.
Right.
Okay. But nowadays, the card's made up and they
It's crazy.
just do analytics. That's it. And
It's
it's you can
crazy.
use it as a reference, but to use it as the end all be all, not good.
Man, these are chess games we're playing here. Like, how are you using analytics? You make the best move. It's killing it. It's really killing the game. I hate to see it. I hate to even hear it. Oh, analytics say you should whatever on this down. I don't give a damn what it says. What makes sense?
I'm gonna correct you. You said it's killing the game. It's already killed it.
Yeah,
It's
you're
already
right.
killed.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's more. There's all these. It's like they overmanage and they use 7 pitchers a game and it's hard. Like I said, especially when you have something to compare it to.
Yes. Like this whole running back by committee. How is a running back supposed to get a rhythm? How is he supposed to be effective, truly effective, and you're pulling him after every 2 plays? Like how? How does that work? It can't.
Those guys, Earl Campbell, Barry Sanders,
Come on.
Lawrence McCutcheon, play for the LA Rams, OJ, Chuck Foreman, all those guys on their 20
all of them.
on their carry. They were Franco Harris. You hit it on the head. You have to build up a rhythm, and then they would hit you for 3 yards. Barry Sanders would go for 3 yards, 1 yard, 75. Right.
Right.
It's just the offense
because you have to know the tendencies of the players that you're playing against too. If you're not running the ball much, you don't know that this linebacker may, whatever this way and how he comes. You just have to know. You can't fill him out. You can't fill it out. So now you're hitting the hole and you're kind of blind. I don't get it.
You can use this as a reference. I'm all for that. But to use it as the guideline and this is the way it's going to be, no.
That don't work.
It's not.
That don't work, man. So tell me this. So scouting, right? How does that even work? Like, what do you do? Like, how is your job in scouting? Can you give me a breakdown of how the whole scouting system works? And how long does it take for you to like be sold on a player to get him to where you feel he should be?
Great question. We have the apparatuses, we have the spin ratio, the velocity gun, and I still look at the physicality of the player. One time I was doing a camp in New York. I was going into my trunk and I saw a kid about 100 yards away. I was watching him glide, getting ground balls, warming up. I said, that kid's an athlete. Took 2 seconds. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, as a hitter, you want to see how his flaws are. Is he flying open? Is he uppercutting? Is he late on an 86-mile-an-hour fastball with an aluminum bat? Then if he's late with that, what's he going to do in approach? So you try to, look forward, look down the road. Right. You look at their mechanics. Even if he has the worst mechanics, if he's successful, you leave him alone. You look at defensively, does he stomp? Does he glide? Does he get a good first jump? They said Joe DiMaggio never made a great play because he got a great jump on the ball. So you look at stuff like that. When he throws, is he aligned with his target? As an outfielder. As a pitcher, does he have command of his pitches? Is he leaning when I'm jumping around here, but when he throws, if he's a pitcher, is he leaning? Grant Jackson taught me that. If he's leaning, he's throwing because he has to. If he's balanced, he's throwing because he wants to. And you can fix a player's command, movement, and speed with that. As a hitter, I'm very, very, very good at detecting holes in a hitter's swing. If he's flying open, he's never going to hit an outside pitch. If he's uppercutting, middle up, he's going to have a hard time with. Little things like that. Then speed, obviously, that's raw speed. Pop time on a catcher. By the time he gets it and throws it to second base, you want 2-0 and under. Does he have a hitch? Is he stepping the wrong way? Does he have? Is he pivoting wrong? There's all kind of things. The physical part of it that I note, and then I like to, whenever I send a scout or a pro team an evaluation, he reminds me of this guy. Because you're trying to paint a picture.
Right.
So you give them numbers, but you also do the physicality. You paint a picture of that player, and as a scout, you say, has he hit a ceiling? Has he hit a wall? Or he's got more room to grow? And that's a gut feeling thing. And I'm not afraid to use my gut where a lot of people are afraid to, because if they're wrong, they look bad. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Okay.
But I'm ready.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for breaking that down. I always wanted to know.
There was a kid who put up huge numbers, 6'5", big time numbers. And I said, either he's the next Sandy Koufax, or he's going up against not good players. And this kid was talented and all that. And he never really turned out to be much. But I want to see you do those numbers against good players.
Right. Yeah.
Like in boxing, would you be more impressed with a guy who was 82-2 or 44-10? Oh, 82-2. Well, the guy who was 82-2 or something like that, he was a former champion. His name was Sean O'Grady. But if you look at his opponents, you look at the guy who 44 or 45 fights, it was Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, George Foreman, Larry Holmes. Look who Evander fought. Riddick Bowe, Michael Moore. You see what I'm saying? So his 44 wins mean a hell of a lot more than 82.
What do you think about Floyd Mayweather while we're on that?
Floyd Mayweather fought great fighters, different versions of fighters, different styles. But in my opinion, if he fought Leonard, Hagler, Hearns, Leonard, he doesn't win.
I agree.
Doesn't win. Might get hurt.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah, yep. No, he would get hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. Great businessman. Great fighter. No shade or anything like that. Great fighter, but I do agree with you. Different era, different styles of fighting. I think he would have gotten hurt with those guys. But great fighter, great businessman. He knows how to make his money. You know what I mean? And he's still making his money with little exhibition fights and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, he did. I'll say he was good for the sport. He's good for the sport for sure.
It was like Evel Knievel. They wanted to see him either make it or get hurt. Yep. They wanted to see Floyd get hurt. He sold tickets.
Yep, he absolutely sold tickets. He was one of the best at doing that for sure. Yeah, still selling tickets with his fighters or whatever. So, I think I think Gervonta might have left him, didn't he? Are you
bickering back and forth? I don't know if he left him yet.
Okay. Yeah. I'm Gervonta's like number one on my list. I love watching him. He excites me. I like him. He excites me when he fights. Yeah, because he kind of gives me the Tyson vibes. Like you're just waiting for that. You're waiting for that big hit. You know what I mean? Because you know it's coming. and it's sneaky
out there, you know. But can they have a long career?
Yeah, it's a question. Let's talk about your book. From lead from the heart up and not the neck up. Let's talk about your book, man. Bring this up.
How to create a positive winning culture on the field and in the office. My mom used to say, never speak from the neck up, speak from the heart up. So it's basically, the theme of it is kind of what Dick Vermeil used to say, your players, your team won't care how much you know till they know how much you care. So that's how I go about it. You know, my players know that I care, and I give them my heart and soul, and I care for them more than just on the field. And you know, I try to treat them as if how I would want my daughter to be treated.
Yeah.
And I try to be that. If all I do is teach them how to hit a ball, throw one, and catch one, I didn't do my job. So I try to give them my life experiences. I try to, you know, be there for them, and I've been blessed to have wonderful people to coach that I'm still very close with. And but this book is for leaders who want to improve their leadership style, not just sports, businessmen, businesswomen, and to you don't have to be a tough guy or a hard guy to be successful, right. to be a leader. So
okay. Well, what you're talking about kind of sounds like what Deion Sanders is doing in Colorado, and it's like, how can you go against that? How can you not like that? It's all good.
My daughter and her boyfriend coming in here real quick. They're going to the Pirate game today. Say hello.
Hey. Hey, it's still baseball theme. They're going to the Pirates game.
Okay, there's Jonathan with his Pirate shirt and a pizza. They didn't bring me nothing, though, but that's all right.
It's all good. Anything goes on the KoolKard show.
I've had so many people have impact on me, and I want to have impact on people with my stories. And hopefully I do. Hopefully I do.
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure you do, man. Tell everybody where they can get the book at.
Website, ClaudioReilsono.com. And you can get it at JohnMelvinPublishing.com and Barnes and Noble and Amazon. Barnes and Noble and Amazon.com. But you
Okay.
can go to my website. And get it.
Go to the website. Links are down below. Everything's down below. Anything you want to get in contact with him is down below. Talk about your camps real quick though. Are you still doing camps, like hitting camps and stuff like that around the nation, around the country?
I haven't done a hitting camp this year yet.
Okay.
Trying to ramp up the speaking engagements. That's something that's very important to me. Be it high schools or businesses, I'm trying to do more of that. The hitting lessons are doing well. I'm doing that and coaching still and all that. So, I'm keeping really busy and involved in some different things. And I'm glad the phones are ringing. I remember when they weren't ringing, so I'm glad that they are.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, you are blessed. And man, I appreciate you coming on the show. It's been a pleasure. I love the inspiration, man. I love everything that you got going. And just keep loving, keep loving what you do. You're living your dream. You know what I mean? Like we talked about, you have your dreams, you have your goals, but you keep showing up. You said there's a lot of people that came up with you, and you're a lot further. Why? Because you kept showing up. It says a lot, man.
Well, I appreciate it, and you keep doing what you're doing because you're doing some great things, and you're a great host. It was fun. You asked great questions, and it was my pleasure to meet up with you. Like I said, I'd love to have you on a few of our shows and
Yeah.
tell your story, and we'll get you on the sports show with Luther and Jim. We do another show together called Steel City Sports World,
Okay.
and great guys and just a lot of fun. And I'm grateful. I'm very blessed, and just hope I keep going. That's all.
Absolutely, man. Hey, you got my email. I got your number now. Actually, I could text you. So yeah, definitely link with me, and I'll love to come on the shows, man. Kick it with you guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on. And I hope your listeners got something out of whatever I said.
Absolutely, they always do. I don't know, something fuzzy going on with the screen, but I see you now. All right, cool. I don't know what's going on, but yes, absolutely, man. They always do. You've been a treasure, man, and a blessing. I appreciate you so much for lending me your time. Like I said, it's been an honor, man, and just continue being blessed and continue doing great things and pouring into whoever you come, whoever's life you cross. For real. Hey
So
everybody, thank you for tuning in. You know where I'm at every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here, kicking it with someone cool like Claudio Reilsono. So you guys stay tuned. Episode after episode, every Tuesday night, guys. We are out of here. Peace and love. Hey, thank you again, man. I appreciate you.
thank you.